Welcome, my Blenderhead colleagues. I am Salvador García Luque, and today we are going to see a tip to improve the performance in our video editor's viewer. Today we're going to talk about the MPEG Preseek function. This tool, technically we have already approached it slightly when we were configuring the entire Blender settings to have a much more efficient general video editor. However, on that occasion, it was not explained why we were setting the MPEG Preseek in such a way, nor could it be experimented the areas where the MPEG Preseek was making an efficiency breakthrough. It was just set up that way, and that's how we left it. But we are going to cover all that in this video. Very well. The first thing we are going to do is add a video clip. I'm going to add this one, the one with the waterfall. I want you to notice that, as always, the frames per second went from 24 to fit our video clip rate, which is 25. We select the video strip, and from there we go to the source section in the strip thumbnail. This is where we will find the MPEG Preseek function. And when we have a video clip set to the PAL format, which is 25 frames per second, we'll notice that this function is set to exactly 25. This only happens with these clips, and I don't know if it's something that has not been configured well or simply that it's planned this way, but if we add a clip with a different frame rate, as in this case, this one we have here adjusted to 29.97, which is the NTSC format, we see that the MPEG Preseek does not change. We can understand this as this is not a whole number, and the MPEG Preseek does not accept fractional numbers. However, the same thing happens if we format again and restart our Blender. We see that we are at 24. Sure enough, this is a clip that has 24 frames per second as its rate and hasn't updated the MPEG Preseek to 24 either. So it looks like, well, it's something that only happens with clips at 25 frames per second. I don't know why, but this is how it usually happens. With only 25 frames per second, it makes that seemingly automatic adjustment. Why? Why does it auto-adjust for this? More than not doing it for others, this auto-adjustment, the logic that we can get from this, understanding that the MPEG Preseek means that it will search in advance, that's what the Preseek part of this function means, you are going to search 25 frames ahead because they will cover 1 second. In other words, it is going to analyze the next 25 frames, the ones that are yet to pass, and it is going to do a cache, a rendering, which is a little ahead of what we are seeing. You are preparing the next 25 frames. The maximum that the MPEG Preseek let us, which was what we set it to in the configuration of our Blender in the other video, was at 50, just the double of the above formats, so that it goes searching for the next 2 seconds in advance. We can also leave this for any other video that has a different frame rate. And as already explained, what this is going to do is simply that it's going to do a pre-cache rendering of the upcoming images. We can see that I have this video here. I have not used a proxy. We see that the size of the proxy here is the same as the scene, but we can set it to no proxy full render to be really sure. Let's play the video. We see that remains at 25, but it is reduced from time to time. It varies. So it is not a completely stable or faithful reproduction. And we even see that it can be stopped, slowed down, and tries to stay in the frame rate, but, well, it does not succeed. We see that the red line from the cache pre-render is here. And this happens because, first of all, we have to refresh everything, either here by going to the View menu, refresh all, or by pressing Ctrl R. We do it and we will see how what we had pre-rendered is lost. We are going to return to frame 1 by pressing Shift left arrow, and we're going to play again. The first time we're going to see some variations in the frame rate, but the second time we're going to see it's a little more stable. There is it. It was missing that section. Sometimes it doesn't pre-render everything, or rather it doesn't render it in the cache the first time, so you have to give it a couple of passes, and after that we see that it remains much more stable, even though we are not using a proxy or anything like that. This is one way we can see the final render a bit more stable. However, as we are working with the render but from the cache, we shouldn't expect this to work every time, especially if we are dealing with much higher resolution videos. You know, Full HD, 4K, or even 8K. I mean, don't even think about it. When we reach those levels, that such a good frame rate works. For that, we're going to have to always make a render, at least of the clip we are dealing with. And while we are working with our clips in the video strips here in the video editor, undoubtedly with those sizes, with those resolutions, we will have to use proxies to be able to work with our video editor. But if we still had problems, well, here we have a way to solve that, even if it's temporarily. And that's what we had to talk about regarding the MPEG Preseek function. The only thing left for me is to tell you to please subscribe, activate that notification bell, and give the video thumbs up. I am Salvador García Luque. I hope you have found this video useful and informative. See you in the next one. Bye!